welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. We're coming at you live from Rosemont at the National Sports Collectors Convention. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi, and Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah,
is like
unofficial guest,
maybe 30 yards from us, and we just got to talk to him, and I don't know if I can do the show.
It's
a good thing we have this table, right?
Yes, it is. I walked by him, and then I was like, holy shit, that's Jaromir Jagr, and I grabbed you guys. I'm like, he's literally just standing right there.
Yeah. There are, right in front of us, there's 10,000 people in line to talk to Johnny Manziel or some aged
paying
NFL player.
$100
And there's NHL legend Jaromir Jagr just standing by himself. No one's paying attention to him. No one's talking to him.
Just hanging out.
We took a picture with him, and like a small crowd was like, oh, shit, that's Jaromir Jagr. Let's get a picture. And then that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, this is the event to do that, right?
I guess so. Anyway, thanks for jumping on. Make sure you smash that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Podcasters, make sure you are subscribed or following wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Later in the show, we're going to talk to Eric Andrews. Eric is the host of the Center Ice Cardcast. He is a hockey card collector, and he'll give us kind of the rundown on how these things work, what card collecting is like, especially with hockey cards, and really talk about Connor Bedard's impact on the collecting world, because as we arrived here, we kind of did a couple laps, and the upper deck booth, one entire side of the upper deck booth is Connor Bedard in his Hawks jersey. He is a major mover, a major player. There was another booth here that had hundreds of Connor Bedard jerseys for sale, some signed, some not, so we'll talk to Eric about that. But we're going to start the show today, fellas, talking about Seth Jones. And yesterday,
yes. And his contract.
Dom Lucian published for The Athletic the NHL's 10 Worst Contracts 2023 edition, starring Seth Jones, Colton Parayko, and more. And he rated Seth Jones, once again, as the worst contract in the league. And I think, this is something that we're going to have to deal with throughout the life of this contract. And I caution people, before we dive in too deep to it, when you read these things, it's not necessarily telling you the player sucks. Right. It's telling you the contract is undesirable. And I think when that contract was signed and that trade was made by a general manager who is no longer here, we no longer speak the name, we all felt that way. However, the Hawks have a number one defenseman. Is he a Nicholas Lidstrom number one defenseman? No. But he is the Hawks number one defenseman. He is an asset, absolutely, to the team. So don't let these things sort of cloud your view and spoil the good things Seth Jones does for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, the Seth Jones contract has become an easy target. It's become fodder for national writers that don't watch a lot of actual Blackhawk games. Sure, you could look at that deal, and then you can look at the results over the first 2 years. Blackhawks have been bad. He's a number one defenseman on a bad team. Now, last year they were bad by design.
Right.
The year before, they were trying to make one last run at a playoff spot. They traded it for Seth Jones. They brought in Marc-Andre Fleury and Jake McCabe. And, it was like, hey, let's squint real hard and maybe we make the playoffs. And then, you had the clown car coach, and then all the stuff happened in October and the wheels fell off pretty quickly. But you can't tell me. Yeah, is Seth Jones overpaid by $1 million, $1.5 million? Mm-hmm. Sure he is. And so is 60% of the NHL. Did he get signed for maybe 1 or 2 more years than you would have liked to? Sure. But again, nothing you could do about that right now. But you can't tell me that his contract gives you less than what the contract of Matt Murray is giving the Maple Leafs this year, which is absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Or right. Nikita Zaitsev's contract, or any of these guys that get dumped. Shea Weber's contract. Someone's paying Shea, the Coyotes are paying Shea Weber to not play hockey. So you can't tell me it's the worst contract. You're getting a lot out of this contract. Are you getting $9 million worth? No. But we knew that going in, you weren't. And as the team gets better, that contract's going to look better. Because guess what? When you have good players and you surround them with more good players, they become better. It's funny how that works. He won't have to be the guy in a couple of years when Kevin Korchinski gets here and Ethan Del Mastro and Nolan Allen and all these young guys we keep talking about. When they're finally here and they're hitting their potential, you're only going to have 4 or 5 more years of Seth Jones, and he's not going to have to be that guy. So
Right.
I just, it's an easy target. It's just, it feeds into that narrative that Seth Jones is a bad hockey player. And again, the people who think Seth Jones is a bad hockey player, watch the damn game.
Well, I think that's a gripe with a lot of the analytics people is, and I'm not saying they don't watch games. Of course they watch games, and it is impossible to watch every game in the league every night. But to take a box score and break it down, or go to natural stat trick and look at that and say, okay, I know how the game went, it's just not factually correct. It's just not true. There's so many. I talk about this all the time. We all do. But the randomness of hockey does not lend itself to analytics. It is a pinball game. There are bounces. There are, bouncing pucks, rebounds, off the glass, all sorts of weird things that you can't plan for that make it really hard to quantify analytically. And I think
Goals off Nicoletti's shin pad.
Sure, and I think even the most ingrained, dug-in analytics person would admit that of the major sports, hockey is the furthest behind in analytics. So, look, take these things for what they're worth. My whole thing is, I think a lot of people read this stuff and are like, well, Seth Jones sucks. And it's just not true. And if you look at this list of players, none of these are bad players. Colton Parayko is a good player. Jonathan Huberdeau is a really good player, even though he had the poop this year. Tyler Seguin, good player. Mark-Edward Vlasic, good player. These are all good players.
Every contract is bloated, is what the problem is. And I think the other problem is when you go into the analytical game in hockey, whose model do you go with? Do you go with a public model like Dom Lucian? Do you go with a public model from JFresh? Do you go from Evolving Wild? Do you go from Natural Stat Trick? All these different models and analytical data that you can go through. If you look at 3 different models, you might get 3 different outlooks for a player. And so based off of what Dom has here, the value contract that Seth Jones should be worth based off of Dom's model as he lays out is $3.6 million a year.
That's ridiculous. That is absurd. That is a broken system.
It's a system that I think is not putting enough weight on what you talked about earlier is the quality of the team that's around him. The quality of minutes that he's playing. He's playing 27, 28 minutes a night against 30 other NHL teams that are better than the Blackhawks with teammates that are not up to snuff. So when you break down what the model is looking at with Seth Jones, it's saying that about $6 million per year he's overpaid over the course of the rest of the contract, making it the worst surplus value, making it the worst contract. I think if you looked at the rest of this list or other players in the NHL, like you mentioned Matt Murray, if you look at what their output could be compared to their contract, the actual scale of things, output to value, would be shifted differently. It's just that Jones was signed to an 8-year deal. So it's the model then puts the onus on the length of the contract, which, again, could be something that you can get out of. But even Dom himself, in the post, says here at the end, even if Jones earned the contract partially off a bloated reputation, that reputation didn't arise out of thin air. Jones is a very toolsy player with a lot of skills that pop. He might not be capable of being the guy, but with a better infrastructure of support, his talent should be able to shine more. So at least I'll give Dom his credit. He is acknowledging that the Blackhawks have been horrible in the last few years with Seth Jones on the team, and Seth hasn't been the previous version of himself where he was a Norris Trophy nominee, but he's still good, and he still needs to get help from other good players. And I think going into this season is where you're going to see a better roster from the Blackhawks. And as we've talked about from 2 seasons ago to last season, the improvement that Seth Jones had. And I think we all talk about the likely improvement that he'll have in a second year under Luke Richardson. I think it all comes into play here. So sure, over the remainder of his contract under this specific model, is it the worst for the rest of the deal? Sure, I can agree with that. Is he the worst player with the worst contract in the league? No, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, and that's the thing about these types of articles. People just read it, and then they don't, it's a very good breakdown.
Or they
by
don't
Mario.
even read it.
Right? They just
headline.
They look at the headline. Oh, Seth Jones has the worst
Right.
contract. He sucks.
And that influences their opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We live in the the most informed era where it's so easy to get information and yet nobody actually looks at the information that's available at their fingertips. It's frustrating. But
yes.
It just makes you wonder, had Seth Jones signed this contract with the Tampa Bay Lightning or the Toronto Maple Leafs,
it'd be different.
Is he considered the worst contract? No, because he's playing on a garbage team.
He'd be playing on a better team in a different role. Is Seth Jones a really good second pair defenseman? Yes. Can he play the role of top pair defenseman? Yes. In a pinch. Have the Blackhawks been in a pinch? Yes. So that's where it all lines up to be. And I think as we see this year and next year's defensive cores evolve, I think you're going to see Seth Jones be able to play with some up and coming players that might benefit him. Well, he played so well with Jake McCabe because he was able to kind of not have to do everything in the pairing, whereas before he was mixing up his defensive pairs. I think he was paired with Ian Mitchell for a while. It's a lot different being paired with a guy like Jake McCabe than rookie or guy who should be on the third line who's playing up above his position. So,
or even just a steady partner.
He played steadily with Caleb Jones in the back half of the year and played well too.
Yeah.
So, just having a guy that he can play with consistently and can have that balance of skill set, I think, is going to be really important for him.
So Dom says in the piece that in 2017-18, Seth Jones is one of the best defensemen on the planet. In 2017-18, the Columbus Blue Jackets had 97 points. You put him on a good team, he's going to have better numbers. I mentioned Nick Lidstrom earlier. If you put Nick Lidstrom on his Blackhawks team, his metrics are going to suffer. His analytics are not going to look great. Right? Yes, he's obviously much better than Seth Jones. He's one of the best defensemen ever lived. But the point is, unlike baseball, where it's a series of one-on-one instances, you've got the randomness of the game, the quality of the teammate. If you've got forwards that can't cover, it's going to help. It's going to hurt your defense. Like, there's so many things that go into it. So it's really hard to evaluate just one person. And look, like we said all along, it's not a good contract. It's $1 million at least too rich. But the guy that signed it, made the trade, is gone. So now just enjoy having a really good-ass player on the Hawks.
Yeah, and we were talking a minute ago about, he's better when he's got a consistent partner.
Yeah.
Does he have a consistent partner to start the year? I mean, who do you think he was? He was with Jake McCabe for a lot of the year. He's gone. Then he was with Caleb. He's gone. So where does Seth play?
I like the way him and Vlasic played at the end of Vlasic's first season.
Yeah.
They were together the whole time for like those 15 games, whatever it was that Vlasic had. Maybe that's where it starts this year. I don't know. I mean, look, no one has the same partner 82 games. It's very rare that happens. But I feel like Seth, especially because of the uncertainty, the lack of overall talent, the constant movement of guys, not just via trade, but also up and down through Rockford, he has not really been able to establish himself with one or two consistent partners. So I think hopefully with a little bit of stability in the defensive lineup this year, he'll be able to find whoever that guy is.
It'd be nice if it could be Connor Murphy, but they both play the same side. So that's where you kind of get into some issues.
At least two young, essentially rookie defensemen, you kind of want to split those guys up so each guy can kind of shadow one of the young guys. You got Vlasic and Jones. That seems like a good pair. And hey, if it's Kevin Korchinski here for the first few games, Kevin Korchinski and Connor Murphy, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, that would work for me.
Kind of gives you a little bit of both. And, I'm be interested to see how that works out. But, enough of the Seth Jones contract bashing. There's nothing we can do about it at this point.
Yeah.
It's tiresome, and we're only in year 3.
The defensive group for that 17-18 Blue Jackets, by the way, was Seth Jones, Jack Johnson, Ryan Murray, David Savard, Marcus Nudivara, and Zach Werenski. His defensive pair that year was Seth Jones and Zach Werenski. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I would play with Zach Werenski for an entire
season.
Seth
made Zach a lot of money, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess the key to being the best defenseman on the planet, according to Dom, is having Jack Johnson on your team.
That's it.
You should never trade him.
There's no other way. There's no other way to look at it.
Yep. Yeah. It's all about Jack Johnson. That's why the Avalanche brought him back.
Yeah. It's just, it just kind of gets, I don't know. I see these things and I just sigh because I know it's going to be in our timelines. It's going to be front and center for us. So
it's in our it's in our post game chats.
Yeah,
there's still you didn't hear as much of it. As the season went on, the Seth Jones outrage was quieted.
We started playing. He started playing better.
He started playing better. He got the All-Star nod. When he came back from the All-Star game, he was a much different player, much better player.
He was kind of like a guy that knew. I forgot who it was that asked him,
are you surprised
post game where he kind of was like, it was the game when he got the announcement that he was the All-Star guy. I forget who it was. It was
Ben Pope.
Yeah, where he was kind of like, hey, so All-Star, eh? We're kind of like inferring, and Seth knew. He was like, yeah. Who else are they going to really take at this point?
Yeah.
But he came back from the All-Star break. I was like, I'm going to show you I deserve to be there.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that probably was something that he needed to experience to get a little bit of a jolt back into his game, and it worked. So
it's certainly a confidence boost for him too. I mean, he sees all this stuff. He reads all these articles about how he's got the worst contract in hockey, and he just looks up. He's like, "What? I'm doing the best I can here."
Right,
you know what I mean?
He reads it while sitting on a couch made of money.
It's like the Dumb and Dumber where he's crying into his dollar bill. It's like, I'm so sad about that.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Contract. Any kind of professional athlete, it's going to take pride in, their game for the most part. And when you hear that, first of all, it has to hurt like hell. It's got to suck.
Yeah. It's a gut punch.
And you want to prove those people wrong. And I think he's done a good job. Look, his first year here, it was a disaster for everybody.
Yep.
With the Jeremy Colliton thing, the scandal in the summer, the coaching change, the expectations that he put on himself, not to mention that were put on him automatically with that contract. Nobody was going to succeed in that situation. Last year, with a legitimately good head coach and coaching staff around him, and then a little bit of consistency at the end of the year, all of a sudden, lo and behold, Seth Jones knows how to play hockey again. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. The guy is a really good, number 2, a poor man's number 1 defenseman. And again, the guy that signed him is gone. So stay mad if you want, but it just feels like a waste of time and energy.
Thanks for the donation to our buddy Young Dangle-God. Said we could have used that $1.5-2 million extra while we're paying Seth Jones to re-sign Kaner. What a shame!
Yes,
and then he donated his 99 cents. So.
At least
he really commits to the bid.
I love when our fans and our listeners commit to the bid. That should be our next shirt. Commit to the bid.
Commit to the bid. Yes.
Didn't Dennis Savard say that? No, he said something else.
Yeah, something else.
Something like that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to welcome in Eric Andrews from from Center Ice Cardcast, as we are at the National Sports Collectors Convention. But first, I want to tell you about my alma mater, Lewis University. And I'm stalling because I got signed out of my document.
Uh-oh.
So maybe we should talk about Sunnyside first while I log in.
It doesn't come right off the top of your head, your memories of Lewis?
Well, I can tell you about my great experience at Lewis University. There we go. All right, we got it back. All right. Thank you, Boingo.
I all of a sudden remember Lewis.
All right. Students just like you with full-time jobs, full-time families, part-time families, maybe some of you, and full-time sports fandoms, they go back to school to earn a respected degree like I did at Lewis University. It's 35 miles southwest of Chicago in Romeoville and is ranked as one of U.S. News & World Report's top-tier colleges. Lewis partners with numerous employers for tuition discounts and offers evening, online, and blended formats to help you balance work, family, and education, and their faculty brings real-world experience and instruction to the classroom, which is immediately relevant to your career. Lewis offers career support and academic resources for adult students, and if you're looking to complete your bachelor's or master's degree or enroll in a professional certificate program, Lewis has the right one for you. They offer several career-focused programs that will set you up for success. We're going to highlight one of them here. My favorite, the cybersecurity, because it sounds cool. Lewis is a Department of Homeland Security Center of Academic Excellence in Cybersecurity, providing students with scholarship funding not available elsewhere. That's good. Adult undergrad programs as well. You got the Computer Science, Aviation Maintenance Technology Certificate. Did you know Lewis University is a top aviation school? Yeah, that's true. They got a big 747 right on campus. Business analytics, criminal justice, tech programs, business programs, the whole schmear. Discover how a degree from Lewis can help you build a better world. Learn more at lewisu.edu/ You can do this.
Did you ever get to fly in the 747?
No, it can't take off.
That's
the
a
airport
problem.
at Lewis does not have a big enough runway for the 747 to take off. They have a bunch of Cessnas and stuff, but it is they could start it and fire it up and all that stuff, but it's used for training.
That's cool.
So it's really, they said to like helicopter it in. Yeah, it was.
Awesome.
It's cool. United Airlines donated it.
Is that where Bed Check Charlie would live on the 747?
He lives in the plane. Yeah, that's
In
the
the
only
plane.
place they let him go now.
Nice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, if you're looking to get high up in the sky,
Ooh, that's a nice one.
don't use the 747 at Lewis because apparently it can't take off. But you can go to Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary and get all the needs that you need from that dispensary for your cannabis needs, because it is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything to elevate your summer this summer. One-stop shop for all of your cannabis needs, no matter where you are on your journey. Easy online ordering and in-store pickup, and a great transparent loyalty program called Sunnyside Rewards. It is Illinois' favorite dispensary, from city to suburbs, Wrigleyville to River North, Champaign to South Beloit. And they have an extensive lineup of in-house brands that Sunnyside provides. You got Mindy's, the best tasting gummy and chocolate edibles created by James Beard award-winning chef Mindy Siegel and Cresco Labs. You got the Good News gummies, rechargeable vape pens, and carts perfect for great moments with the crew. You also got Wonder Wellness Company. They want to make the world of cannabis simple to understand and easy to experience for everybody. The brand's low-dose formulations are offered in gummies and mints and allow people to control their high, whether it's for microdosing throughout the day or easing into your cannabis experience. Through August, head to sunnyside.shop and use the code CHGO25 at checkout. When you do, you're going to get 25% off of your order. It is one use per customer, but it is not just for new customers. Anyone can use that code and pick up everything you need to elevate your summer. Also, it's not stackable with other promotions. And, of course, you need to be 21 plus or an Illinois medical card holder.
Now, for clarity, the Lewis plane can take off. If you try to take off the Lewis plane, you're going to go through a building and probably end up at Stateville Prison. You don't want to do that.
Don't do that. It's a bad idea.
You'll run through Stateville Prison, then end up in Stateville Prison. So don't do that. I cannot recommend. All right, joining us now on the show, he's way over there. Hey, Eric. How's it going? Eric Andrews from the Center Ice Card Cast. This is a sports card collecting expert. I am not a sports card collecting expert, Eric. But I want to start before we get into to your expertise, which is fascinating to me being at the show. We walked in here, and the biggest face we saw so far was Connor Bedard. Mm-hmm. What does a player like that do for the hockey card market?
It's huge, honestly. Obviously, for the four major sports, hockey is definitely fourth, especially in the card landscape. So when you get a generational talent like Connor Bedard coming in, and especially playing for a big market team like the Blackhawks, it's huge. Because not only, do you get your hockey fans and your fans of that team, but you also have people just from the city that are, going to buy into that hype and want to collect his cards and stuff too. So, yeah, his impact on the hobby will be huge, no doubt.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Say, May 8th doesn't go our way, and it's the Columbus Blue Jackets that get number one. You got to think the folks at Upper Deck are ecstatic that he's in a Blackhawk jersey and not playing for Arizona or Columbus, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. It's good for them too, because obviously the more interest there is, the more of their product is going to sell. So yeah, I'm sure they are thrilled about that.
Well, and this, convention is, the biggest that I think I've ever seen or heard of in the card collecting community. And just here, we've seen a wall of Bedard jerseys. We've seen a big poster from him from Upper Deck. So when you have these kind of events where everyone is coming in, everyone in the collecting community and in the crossover with the hockey community, that's where you're going to see kids of these generations. We were talking about it off the air before the show in a different way, but kids of this generation, they latch on to a lot of the top athletes. You'll have kids in Chicago rooting for LeBron James. You'll got, Steph Curry. You got people who live in, California cheering for Aaron Rodgers when, he's playing in New York and Green Bay. You have that now of a player in Chicago that could captivate, fan bases from all these different areas. So when you have something like this, it's an opportunity for like people from all over the place to come and get that memorabilia and be able to blow that up outside of just in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually here with a friend from Alaska, actually. So he flew down for this. He's a big Marc-Andre Fleury fan and collector. I know he's been having a good time today. And, yeah, I mean, like you said, it just brings people from every corner of the collecting universe. I mean, people flying internationally, you know, from overseas and everything. So, yeah, I mean, this is as big as it gets for not only cards, but, I mean, it's also memorabilia and other things, too.
That's what I want to ask you about. As we got here early and we're wandering the convention center, and we see these vendors with cases and cases and cases of cards, and you see that $500, $700, $2,000, and they've got 15, 20 of these cases. Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea, like, how do they travel with this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, do they fly with all these things, like, packed up? Like, what are the logistics of it? Maybe you don't know, and if you don't know, that's cool. But, like, what are the logistics of one of these major card vendors traveling and getting their stuff sold at one of these shows?
Yeah, it's definitely a case-by-case type of situation. If it's just like an individual that has their own booth, depending on where they live, they might drive, they might fly. I mean, if I was doing it and I was from far away, I would probably want to drive and make sure that I'm kind of in control of my stuff. As far as like the big retailers that are selling boxes of cards and they just have, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory, obviously they've got pretty good insurance to help, you know, minimize any potential issues there. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to think about for sure.
Yeah, this place, it's insane how big it is and how much stuff is out there. Like,
I can't.
It's overload. Like Jay and I did a lap when we got here, and within 15 minutes, it's like I cannot process anything else that's going. There's just too much stuff, and I don't have enough money for nearly everything I want to buy.
Cal Ripken jersey, though, Greg.
Stop.
$300.
Stop. It was a hell of a deal.
Is that Zach Ryder?
Is it?
No, I think that was Zach Ryder.
Woo. That's Zach Ryder?
No. The other guy. The other guy that was
Hulk
the
Hogan.
edge head. Not Zach Ryder.
Iron Cheek.
No.
Yokozuna.
It'll come to me later.
Bam, bam,
anyway,
bam.
sorry, I derailed everything.
Yes. Anyway, I was going to ask Eric. You're the hockey collectible guy. You know a lot more. I just open 90s card packs on TikTok. You know, that's all I do. And,
sure.
I mispronounce everybody's name. But if someone wants to get in and they want to start collecting Connor Bedard, like, is there something that's already out that's like already that must-have item, or is it coming out as the season starts? Like, what's to look for if you want to start on the bottom floor at Connor Bedard memorabilia? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, as far as cards, he has a deal with Upper Deck, so they also have a contract with the CHL. So he's had CHL cards for a couple of years already. You know, so a lot of people have been going after those. The thing with that is kind of once guys get NHL cards, then those CHL cards become a little bit less desirable because people want the NHL stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, as the 23-24 products start coming out, that's really when you're going to see people start to really get more involved and wanting to pick up that kind of stuff. Probably Upper Deck Series 2 will be the first product that he's really in. That'll be his Young Guns rookie card, which is kind of like the staple, iconic rookie card that everyone wants.
We have a question in our chat, and I think it's something I've asked you before.
Sure.
About 90s hockey cards, and this comes from Nate. It says, why are all my 90s hockey cards worthless now? And I from my parents' basement, found an old box of like 1991 cards from, I think it's called Score.
Sure.
And I asked you one time, I was like, oh, these are some notable players. Like, is this worth anything? And you're like, yeah, probably about $2. How come some cards from that era can be worth hundreds of dollars and some are just a couple cents?
The simple answer, most everything from that era was grossly overproduced. So that's why it just doesn't hold value. There are, you know, rare instances where there is something that might have been a lot more scarce at the time and, you know, now is really hard to find. So that type of thing can hold value and even increase in value over time. But as far as just kind of the everyday type of stuff, you know, the scorecards, stuff like that, the value just isn't there because there were so many printed.
Yeah.
What is your prized possession in terms of cards?
I've got a couple of them here. We can go into those or we can get to them later, whatever.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see
what you got. You got them
All
on the
right.
table.
Sure. So we'll start off. I'll save the two big ones for the end. But first one, for the producers, it's the horizontal Tony Esposito. So there's kind of just an assortment of stuff here, kind of cool, unique things. So this first one has a piece of cinder block or brick or something from the Chicago Stadium.
Oh, cool.
In the card.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
That's
just
awesome.
a kind of unique, cool little piece.
Try not to smudge it up. I know we didn't wash our hands after meeting
all
Jaromir
good.
It's in
Jagr.
a
I got
enough
nacho
case.
cheese on your card, my
It's all
friend.
right. It's got this card now has Jaromir Jagr's DNA.
There we go.
It's worth even more now.
It's worth more.
So where did
That card's going to score 30
30
goals in the Czech League next year.
That is so cool.
How did you come across that?
That's a lot. There's only 29 of these in the world?
Yes.
Holy. What is this worth?
That's probably like $50-ish. So
I'll steal somewhere.
Oh, Jay's unimpressed.
yeah.
Well, I got to see what I'm stealing.
They made a lot of they made these of a lot of different like legendary Hawks. So there's a lot more than just the 29. But for Esposito, there's 29.
Real quick, I want to ask you, too. I noticed there was a card down there. It was, I've seen the ones with jersey patch in there. I know Greg opened Jamie Ben one of those.
Mm-hmm.
It was, so those jersey patch ones, are they more valuable if there's like part of the logo on them?
Yep.
Okay, so the value changes based on what you can make out of the jersey?
Yes.
Cool.
Probably why the
Interesting.
Jamie Ben one I got is not worth much because I think it's just like the green.
Just the jersey
just the
material.
jersey part,
Just some
yeah.
green felt.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
what's next?
All right, next, another Tony Esposito card. I really like stuff that has multiple different types of memorabilia. So this one has a part of his pad, jersey, glove, and stick all on the same card.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is cool. Now this says 1 of 1 on it. Is this the only
It's the only one.
Only
Wow.
one.
So
Very
how did you find this? You go to a card show and just, what do you,
I
go
usually
auction, or?
buy stuff online, whether it be eBay or forums, Facebook, various online stores, stuff like that.
Have
That
you
is
ever?
cool.
Because when we've been walking around here, there've been some booths that say auction on them. Have you ever gone and got things through auctions before? Like what? Have you
Not at a show.
done that experience?
No, not at a show. I mean, obviously eBay is an auction site, so I'm very familiar with that. But as far as kind of like in the show context, not so much.
Okay.
So
All right, what we got next?
next one,
Let's get it.
something that a lot of people really like, and something people chase after are cards that have the complete logo of the league that the player was playing in. So this is kind of a cool one. It's Corey Crawford, but it's from one of his AHL jerseys.
Oh, sweet.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
that looks like an Ice Hogs jersey here on the card. So that's pretty sweet. That's an old AHL logo. too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, Corey Crawford of the Norfolk Admirals and Rockford Ice Hogs.
So do you get? Do you just like target specific cards you want, or are you one of these guys that like buys a box and hope you get something cool or a little bit of both? I'm sorry.
I would say when I was little, it was more so opening boxes just because it's really enjoyable. But as I've gotten older, the value proposition is way better to just buy what you want.
Yeah.
You're going to be satisfied and get your money's worth. So, yeah, I tend to go more for just single cards at this point, but I definitely do enjoy opening boxes as well. The next one, this one's kind of a sentimental card. It's of Michel Goulet, so throwing it back a little bit.
Is
but
it got part of his mustache in there?
that
We
would
did
make
see-
it way better.
We saw Kurt Cobain's hair for sale.
Yes, we
in the
did.
booth
True.
today.
True.
Yeah.
If there's a Michel Goulet where you get like 4 mustache hairs in his card, I will buy that card.
That's amazing. Michelle's actually a good family friend of ours, so I enjoy picking
see?
up cards of his.
He'll
And
get some stash hair.
this one actually has the nameplate off of his stick. And
Holy cow.
That's cool.
I actually, while covering a Rockford Ice Hogs game, I loved Michel Goulet. Even when he was on the Nordiques before he came to the Hawks, I was covering an Ice Hogs game in the press box, was sitting next to Michel Goulet, who was scouting for the Penguins at the time. And it took me like half the game before I realized it was Michel Goulet because he doesn't have the mustache.
Yeah.
He's completely bald now.
Yeah.
And it took me I'm like, I know this guy. And then I finally cheated and looked over and I realized it was Michel Goulet. And it was such a really good guy.
Yeah.
Really good guy.
Absolutely.
I want to address, because it's just realizing this now, this is a very visual part of the podcast. So if you're
Yes.
listening to the audio version, go back, watch it on YouTube. You can see all of the stuff that Eric's brought to the table here that we're passing along. Really cool stuff. So check out the YouTube as well. To
And
get
you'll be
the
able to
visual.
see our photo.
And hit that like button for us.
Yeah, smash it, as the kids say.
Keep them coming, Eric.
All right.
This is cool.
So these were obviously Hawks related. I don't only do Blackhawks, even though obviously I'm a Hawks fan, but Another aspect of the hobby that I really enjoy is collecting things that represent a historical element of the sport, or a big name player, whatever it might be. So this one I think is it speaks for itself. It's a game used pad card of Vladislav Tretiak.
Ooh. Wow. So that's Eddie Belfour.
That is awesome.
That's some history right there.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Tretiak was goaltender for the old Soviet teams. Was a goaltending coach with the Blackhawks.
He was.
If I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
and that's why Eddie Belfour wears number 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
When he, aside from when he was in Chicago, obviously.
Yeah, no,
is awesome.
he was the, I believe, the goalie for the Russians in the famous
Yes, he was.
Summit Series, 72.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
One of the greatest goalies ever.
And 80.
and in the 80s
Yeah.
for
in the
Miracle games.
Yep, one of the greatest goalies. I would venture out to say he's the greatest goalie that didn't play in the NHL.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
All right, show us your two best, Eric.
Got a few more. Do you want to see the others?
Yeah, let's do them quick because we
All
gotta make way
All right.
for the next show. But
Sounds
yeah,
good.
let's just do them rapid fire.
Couple cool ones. Self-explanatory again, but a Bill Barilko stick,
Oh, very.
And
That's
then-
selling in Toronto.
Alex Ovechkin skate laces.
Okay, that's awesome.
The yellow skate
Oh, very
laces,
cool.
the unmistakable
Yep,
Alex Ovechkin skate laces. That's awesome.
2 of 3. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I love the Bill Barenko. That's like
I'm gonna need a
history
little
right there.
education on Bill Barreco real quick.
Maple Leafs player back 50s, 60s.
51 cup winning goal.
Yes, and then died in
okay.
a
Plane
plane
crash.
crash where they never really knew what happened.
Oh,
like
wow.
a mystery. Yeah.
Interesting.
Tragically Hip wrote a song about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So then the two big ones, another aspect of the hobby that I've really leaned into the last couple of years that I thoroughly enjoy is collecting specific cards of George Vezina, which is obviously a huge name. So these are kind of like two holy grail hockey cards. So first one is a copy of his rookie card from over 100 years ago.
Wow. That is awesome. It's so small now compared to the
Yes.
the
They
normal
used to come.
cards.
They used to come
So-
in cigarette packs.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Instead of bubble gum.
Yep.
And what is the value on this?
That's probably like a $6,000 or $7,000.
Wow,
Oh boy.
that is so cool.
Give it
Don't hand it back to me. My palms
Yeah.
got sweaty.
Give it back to you very carefully. I don't want to be.
Handle that
I
very
don't want to be in
nice.
charge of that.
And then the last one, this is probably, like in my opinion, like the holy grail of hockey memorabilia, is one of the actual buckles off of his pads.
I've seen this card.
Oh my
online.
God.
I've seen. Wow.
That's incredible.
This is the one of one. Yeah, I've seen this card online. Or did they come out with multiples? And I know it says one
There's
of one.
a green one and a gold one.
Okay, I know I've seen this online and thought it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how'd you come across that?
A guy in the UK had it. I was trying super, super hard to find one of them because, like I said, that's kind of like a holy grail type of piece.
Yeah.
So as soon as I caught wind that he had this card, I just reached out to him, and we fortunately were able to work out a deal.
That's awesome.
Wow, that is so cool. So for these kind of like these special ones that have like pieces of stick, obviously a pad buckle, all those things, like these would not come in a pack, obviously.
Yeah, they would.
Really?
How would you not know there's a goalie?
Well,
Goalie buckle.
Buckle in the middle
fair.
of my pack.
That's a little different, but for like stuff like the
The
other
Ovech-
stuff, those would come in packs. And as far as like the thickness and stuff, there's we were talking about this before the show. They put like fillers in the packs so that all of the packs are the same thickness, so you don't know if
So
there
you can't
is
cheat
or
and
not.
like squeeze them. Like, oh, that one's
Oh,
thicker. That's
okay.
got a good card in it.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's very cool.
awesome.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
How are we on time? Do we have enough time to
We
open
got
up a quick pack?
3 or 4 minutes. Yeah,
3 or
let's
4
do
minutes.
it.
Let's open up some
5
packs.
minutes.
5
We got
minutes,
5
Steven
minutes.
says.
5 minutes. All right.
All right, so we can
This
open
is-
up a pack of cards
This
and
is,
get our
this is
reason.
Greg's deal.
You can just do one apiece if you want.
All right.
Pass them
Take
down.
one, pass it down.
These are
Pass it down.
Parkhurst Blackhawk Original 6 cards. I got Eric Taze on here.
Now, what year are these from?
This is from 2003-04.
Oh, yes.
Pretty old school.
A
So
wonderful time for the Blackhawks.
yeah,
Who could forget?
got some players from the team back then in the set, so
The
it'll be a
ASMR.
blast from the past. You got like Ville Nieminen and Lassi Kukkonen and the ABC line and guys like that. So
course.
definitely kind
Oh,
of
cool.
interesting.
I want a Mark Bell.
All right, let's see. Is there any bubble?
I got a
gum in
Craig Anderson,
here? Legend. That's good.
Park Ridge native.
Howie Morenz, Doug Wilson. Good ones. Ooh, my buffer is a Hawks one.
There you go.
Hey,
There you go.
Tony Esposito and Dennis Savard.
All right.
Nice.
Pretty good.
I got a Kyle Calder.
Hey.
1/3 of that. Ooh, Steve Passmore. You're jealous.
Trade you for that.
Trade you for that Tony Esposito. Dominic Hasek.
Hey.
Of course, I get the Maple Leaf. Chris Chelios. And then a Bobby Hull. There you go.
Very cool.
Some good players there.
I got Steve McCarthy.
Oh, that's your
Hit
almost
my way for the
favorites.
puck.
Jeremy Roenick in the barber pole jersey.
Nice.
I like that. Bobby Hull. I got another Maple Leafs buffer. Kenny Warham. Got that one. And Phil Esposito.
There you go.
Enshrined.
Saw a jersey of his for sale for $30
Don't
here.
see too
Signed.
much Phil in the Blackhawks
No,
jersey.
no,
Yeah.
not too much.
Eric, help me with that. How is there a Phil Esposito Bruins jersey for $30 signed here? How does that work?
I mean,
What's the
million of them.
scam?
the quality of the jersey is probably extremely low, and yeah, that's probably about all I can say.
Yeah.
Might
It
not
did
be a
look-
real autograph.
It did not look great in terms of jersey quality, but it was authenticated. They had like the thing on there. This
Yeah,
is very
but
cool.
That's a good entry-level collector
There you
jersey.
go. There you go.
Somebody
First-
just wants something that looks cool on your wall.
Your starter jersey.
Yeah.
All right, what'd you
Exactly.
get in your pack, Eric?
I got Igor Korolev. That's a blast.
Good old
from the
number
past.
22.
Yes.
Steve Sullivan, Howie
26.
Morenz, Stan Mikita, and Pierre Palat.
Nice.
All right.
Finish strong.
Solid pack.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think we did good. All right, let's
That's
go
awesome.
sell these.
Yeah.
Sweet. I look forward.
set up a booth.
I look forward for the $3 I get for all this guy.
Perfect.
Eric, let people know where to find you, where to find the podcast.
Yeah, so Center Ice Cardcast. It's me and a co-host who lives up in Toronto. We talk cards and open boxes every now and then and show off cards that we've acquired. And we have contacts with Upper Deck and other manufacturers, so they'll give us like inside scoops on stuff and come on and talk about products and stuff. So yeah, we love doing it and love providing that content for people. So Center Ice Cardcast, you can watch on YouTube or any podcast platform pretty much. Social media, Center Ice Cardcast. Twitter is Center Ice CC. Yeah.
Awesome. Eric, it was great having you, man. We appreciate it. Before we go, we got to let everybody know about our friends at Shady Rays.
Yes, Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at a very affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that is just as good, even better than any expensive pair we've ever wore. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for your outdoor adventures. Like walking from the parking garage to the convention this morning, I had my Shady Rays on, and they
Quite the
helped.
adventure.
They did the job. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements if you break your pair, even on day one. They told us they're going to send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. And together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much-needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact. From building play sets for patients with pediatric cancer to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime. Trust me, those outdoor adventures are a lot better than walking from a parking garage to a convention.
Correct.
Yes.
Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, but trust me, you're going to. But just in case you don't, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's absolutely no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. And exclusively for our listeners only, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com, use the promo code CHGO at checkout, and you're going to get 50% off all orders of 2 or more pairs of their amazing sunglasses, rated 5 stars by 250,000 people.
That's a lot of people. Almost that many people will be out at the CHGO
Almost.
Big Drive Energy and Pins and Aces CHGO Kickoff Classic Golf Tournament at Cog Hill number 2, the Ravines. That is August 25th at 9 a.m. Sign up. Tickets are going fast. And I know people say tickets are going fast. When they're not going fast, they're actually going
Yes.
fast. So if you want to do this, you got to jump in very, very quickly. Here's how. AllCHGO.com. Navigate over to our events page and click on the CHGO Kickoff Classic Golf Tournament. All the information is there. But here, real quick, diehards, of course, will save, but your entry fee includes 18 holes with a cart, an exclusive Pins and Aces tee gift for every player, access to our limited edition Pins and Aces and CHGO collaboration polo, which is very cool, hole contest, great giveaways and prizes for contest holes, winning teams, and my team, last place, lunch, drinks, and a ceremony after the round. It's going to be an awesome time. Again, allchgo.com. Navigate to our events page, and you will find all the info on the Kickoff Classic. Cannot wait for that, fellas. I'm getting the clubs out next week.
Yes.
Me and my pal James Naveau are going to hit the links, and he's going to kill me, as
Nice.
he always does. All right, we're back tomorrow at 2 with another fun-filled show about hockey.
Yes, hopefully some news drops in the next 23 hours.
Or-
We'll have some Friday content.
Or we see Yarmer Yager again.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I'll have him over to the house in Wilmette, and we'll just hang out with
There
the
you go.
dogs.
That'll work
Awesome.
out.
Thanks to Eric
Here's
Andrews from Center Ice Cardcast for joining us today. And thanks to everybody at the National Sports Collectors Convention here in Rosemont. It's going on all weekend, so come check it out. It is really cool. I'm glad we got to do this. I never would have been at a place like this without this kind of without us being here, and it is very cool to be here.
It's fascinating.
It is really interesting.
It was Kurt Hawkins was the wrestler. That's who it was. So shout out to our chat. They figured it out.
There you go.
Chris Hawkins. Isn't that Kurt Hennig's kid? No,
I have no idea.
I always get those
You
guys
can ask him.
confused.
He's at the Impact Wrestling booth down the way.
Oh, sweet.
Are you Mr. Perfect, son?
I'm gonna go put him in a headlock.
He wasn't that perfect, man.
Let's see how that goes.
All right, we're going to wrap things up. Bulls are next.
Yes.
3 o'clock. Stick
Bulls.
around. Thanks for listening and watching the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. By the way, we only have 63 likes. We met Yarmer Yager today. Get us to 68 before you log off.
Yes.
Let's go. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2 on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.